In the early years of industrialization, the workplace was a vastly different landscape. It was an era marked by a stark divide, with jobs classified strictly on the basis of gender and race. Women and people of color were often relegated to the periphery, limited to roles deemed suitable for them. This, my friends, was the birth of workplace bias. As we moved into the 20th century, the world witnessed two world wars that shook the societal structure to its core. Women stepped into roles previously held by men, and people of color fought alongside their white counterparts. However, even as the lines blurred, the bias lingered, often masked under the guise of societal norms and expectations. Post-World War II, the civil rights movement and women's liberation movement emerged, challenging the status quo. This was a turning point, a time of reckoning for workplace bias. Yet despite the strides made, the journey was far from over. Fast forward to the late 20th and early 21st century, the dialogue around workplace bias grew louder. Laws were enacted, policies were changed, diversity and inclusion became buzzwords. Yet, beneath the surface, the bias persisted, morphing into subtle forms, often unconscious yet equally damaging. From microaggressions to glass ceilings, from pay disparity to lack of representation, the modern workplace, despite its progressive facade, continues to grapple with bias. But awareness is the first step towards change. Today, organizations are investing in bias training, fostering inclusive cultures, and implementing policies that promote diversity. Yet the challenge remains. To truly eradicate bias, we must confront it, understand it, and actively work towards dismantling it. The story of workplace bias is a complex tapestry, interwoven with societal norms, historical events, and personal biases. It's a narrative of struggle and progress, of setbacks and victories. As we delve into this narrative, we explore the various forms of bias, their origins, their impact, and the efforts being made to combat them. We look at case studies, dissect statistics, and bring to light the often overlooked facets of workplace bias. In summary, we've journeyed from the blatant bias of the industrial era to the subtle, often unconscious bias of the modern-day workplace. We've seen the impact of societal events, from world wars to civil rights movements, on workplace bias. We've explored the various forms of bias, their repercussions, and the efforts being made to combat them. And most importantly, we've underscored the importance of understanding and confronting bias to foster a truly inclusive and equitable workplace. The journey to unearthing workplace bias is far from over. But as we continue to dig deeper, let us remember, awareness is the first step towards change, and change, although slow, is inevitable.